What if female Deku was an enforcer? We start this off with someone approaching their ship with a black mask, cloak, and, well, fully cloaked in an enforcer's outfit. As one of the, in a commander's uniform, someone in a commander's uniform come over. Mrs. Zumi, ma'am, what's the news? It seems like another Inquisitor in the far side of the universe or galaxy has had some trouble. They're requesting for reinforcements. You're the closest one, so they ask for your assistance. Have my ship ready. We're preparing for it right away. How many troopers are sent on their way currently? We are currently sending a nearby small destroyer to help them out. Apparently, the rebels are doing their best to trying to attack the Empire. Give a communication saying I will be there momentarily. Yes, ma'am. As she approaches her pod, as with a group of pilot troopers, as they get in their TIE fighters. You ready, men? Yes, ma'am. As she gets into her fighter, as they start to fly away. Sir, ma'am, are we gonna go ahead of the ship? Yes, we need to get there as soon as possible. Our fellow comrades need reinforcements immediately. Hit hyperspace. As her team hits hyperspace of pilots. As they're going through hyperspace. As they pop out into a war zone where the destroyer's going down, several rebel ships are out. This isn't the exact information we got back from headquarters. As they see it's a whole armada. Take evasive maneuvers. As she moves her ship as the enemy X-Wings are coming towards them. Light them up as she'd fire her guns on her TIE fighter that would shoot down one of the X-Wings. As her team would be behind her as they're moving closer. As then an X-Wing got behind one of her team as it was shot down and hits one of the ships. Evasive maneuvers as then it split up. 2 TIE fighters following Izumi TIE fighter and the other ones vanished into the mist of the battle. Open fire as they start firing on a squad of X-Wings, covering them going from the heavy destroyers. Where's that Inquisitor's information? As she's pulling up the information. Cover me. As she's heading towards the planet. I need to get close. If there's a Jedi, that Inquisitor really needs backup immediately. As she's going downward, one of her, allied TIE fighters that was behind her gets shot and goes spinning out of control. What was that, Trooper 1? Repeat, Trooper 2 is down. We've lost about 3 men of the squad. Keep moving and get that TIE fighter off my tail. Or X-Wing. Yes, ma'am, as the other TIE fighter just does a full-on flip behind the X-Wing before destroying it. Good work, Trooper. As she makes a hard turn with her X-Wing, going through a heavily rocked area, moving towards the location where the other Inquisitor should be. As she's approaching it, as then suddenly a course of lightning and with the Force hit her TIE fighter from the battle of the Inquisitor and the Force User, as this would cause the systems of the TIE fighter to malfunction. I'm having difficulties with my TIE fighter. I may have to eject. Trooper, going to need a TIE fighter to pick me up. Right, ma'am. I'm heading towards your location now. As she looks, as then her hyper beam has been enabled while they're on the planet's surface. Oh no. As then suddenly she would blast through seemingly into a hyperspace before suddenly her wing colliding off as she would be tossed and her TIE fighter would crash into a red forest. As both her wings had been separated from her TIE fighter. As she used the Force to kick out the wing. Where am I? As she grabs the, information from the TIE fighter. As she steps out, the light blinds her a bit. As she looks around, she's in a red forest. As she would look around before, a vision of a young Izumi playing in the park would come in front of her. As she would shake her head, no time to remember. You're a Inquisitor of the Empire. As she looks around before going back to the TIE fighter. Repeat, any troopers, any command. Repeat, any Imperial base nearby. Repeat, copy. This is a stress signal from an Inquisitor. I need immediate pickup on an unknown planet. If you get this message, please come to pick me up. No telling where I ended up after that mysterious force and lightning I assume was from the Inquisitor. My TIE fighter got caught in the mechs while passing by their fighting zone. And it looks like most of my communication and the TIE's busted, so there's no way for me to confirmly get back to the Empire. As she touches her helmet, I'm going to need to find where I am. As she looks around, as she goes to a tree by touching it, organic life form sampled a regular tree with interesting of red rose petals. Red leaves, as she would touch the red leaves, feeling them. Unusual planet. Most plants I've come across don't have red leaves like this. And the grass is red too. As she just puts in a little data device, as she tries to calculate. Great, made of unknown material. What planet did I land on? Did my TIE fighter take me all the way to the outer rim, to an unexplored planet? Well, it did overcharge my hyperdrive. As she had walked a little bit away from her TIE fighter, as it suddenly exploded. And there's the overloaded hyperdrive, as it landed right next to her. Well, now I know what happened to that overloaded. As she looks around, I'm going to need more information. I'm also going to need to find a ship to get off this planet, to join back for the Empire. As she would walk in the forest, as then suddenly she would hear movement in the trees, as broken leaves and all that, as she would move and turn in that direction. Come out, as she ignites her lightsaber. As she points in that direction, as then a tree gets knocked down by a chimera-like Grim. What in the world are you? As it charges or sends its tails at her, as she would deflect it with her lightsaber, cutting it off one of the tails of the, chimera Grim. So you're some type of beast of this planet. As she would use the force to send it back towards a tree, as two of its heads would hit the trees before their pieces of their mass start to fly off. Interesting. I'm going to need a sample of their DNA to report back to the Empire with. As it charges towards her once again, as she just lifts her fist, sending it up in the air, then just sending it towards a tree, as it breaks through the tree and hits another one. As she walks towards it, as it lifts a claw and tries to claw, Izumi, as she just seemingly swings her lightsaber before decapitating one of its arms. As the beast falls back with one arm, on 3 legs. This thing's obviously smart. Especially that third, the head in the middle. It's been analyzing me. As one of its tails tries to strike Izumi from the back, as she senses it with the force, as she quickly turns around and cuts the tail off. As she looks back, the beast was jumping towards her. As she tries to move her lightsaber, as the beast swings its other claw, as she had leaned back, as it barely scraped the tip of her helmet, as she quickly swung before decapitating one of the beast's heads. You've obviously learned. You took advantage of my weak spot to try to attack. As then she feels the little scrape on her helmet. Managed to damage my helmet, eh? As she charges towards Izumi once more. As it jumps towards, as she simply just raises her lightsaber before tossing it, as the beast was just going to deflect it with its other arm, as the blade cuts straight through the middle of its hand, going through the middle of its body, cutting it directly in half. As it falls in two right behind Izumi, as her lightsaber returns to her. Fail, beast, you fell miserably, although you did fight well. As she walks away, as one of the tails tries to attack her at the very last moment, as she used the force to choke the last head that was still alive before breaking its neck. You should make sure you never underestimate me, as she turns with her hand in the force choke clench. As she starts to walk through the forest. Now, where to next? As that is the end of part 1 of What If Female Deku Was an Enforcer. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.